Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the channel. I haven't made a personal video like this on this channel before, but ever since I was a little kid, I've used making videos or something around it as a outlet for me, and so I'm gonna do that now because I've had a few things on my mind. It's February 1st as of recording this video. I went into the hospital on January 21st. I'm generally pretty healthy. I don't have really too many health issues, except if you know me, I do have a lot of back pain, but other than that, I'm generally a pretty healthy person. So I'm gonna give the rundown of what the story is, and then I'll say the thoughts after that. So it was a Thursday night, so 2 days before I went into the hospital. I'd gotten off work and I was hanging out with my girlfriend, and we were eating Sonic, and we were I got a number 2, and I got a large mango slush with that. She had some mozzarella sticks herself, in case you were wondering. I may be 22 years old, but I had the urge. I had just, my mouth was dry, I had a few fries, and so I took the liberty of taking 3 or 4 or 5 gulps from the mango slush. Like a normal person, it immediately gave me a brain freeze. Like, to define it as a brain freeze is to not give it proper light. It was one of the most excruciating pains I've ever had in my life. 30 seconds of just like me on my bed right behind me, not being able to really think of anything. I was in so much pain. It was a brain freeze, but it was so much more than that. And so, you know how like at the end of a brain freeze, you normally get like the sense of relief once it's all done, and you kind of like, go back to normal. For me, there was no relief that ever came. It was the pain just kind of like slowly went away, but the issue was that my heartbeat was like out of control. Like, it was out of control. It kept like speeding up to I don't know how many BPMs and then slowing down really quick. It felt like I was like immediately in fight or flight mode. I chucked that to me just being tired, and maybe I just had a long day, and so I ended up just deciding to go to bed and not really think about it. And so I was able to fall asleep, and everything was good. Woke up the next day. It's Friday morning. I went to work. I worked 8 hours. Throughout the whole day, that feeling in my chest never went away. And in certain situations, like I normally am a pretty chill person in social situations, but I would like find myself like my heart was beating through my chest for no reason. I would just be sitting in like the office talking to someone. The whole day went by. I finished up work, and the night came, and it kept like, I couldn't put a pin on what I was feeling. Every time I described it to someone, it was really just, I would just tell them that I feel a little off, because I hadn't felt that before. Like I don't know, like I felt fine, like physically I wasn't sick, I would know that. It was just really weird. I was with my girlfriend that night, Friday night. I was talking with her, and I was like struggling to fall asleep, and because I was starting to realize I couldn't catch my breath, and that started making me really anxious, because I was like, okay, like there may be something wrong, but I also like didn't want to be the person that went to the hospital and then got laughed out of there, because there wasn't actually anything wrong. Like if they were to just tell me that it was like anxiety or something, which is a big deal, but I don't know, it was something I was concerned about. I ended up laying down and could just convince myself to kind of breathe through it, fall asleep, and then wake up the next morning and see where I was at. I didn't get the best night's sleep really at all. I woke up Saturday morning. The feeling was the exact same. Like I was in constant fight or flight mode. Like I said, there was just something up, and I couldn't put a pin on it, but I could like feel my chest, and it was beating. I like felt it, and so we ended up going to the emergency room that morning, and turns out I was in AFib. If you're not familiar with that, I think it's atrial fibrillation. I won't bore you with the gory details. It's not really any issues, but essentially the way it was described to me is that there's 4 chambers of your heart, and when you're in AFib, there's an issue with the chambers communicating with each other, which is making the heartbeat go all out of whack, and it's causing it to misfire and speed up and slow down. It's overcompensating for the blood not circulating like it should, which, if you're familiar with AFib, it's a very common thing. The issue is that I'm 22 years old. I'm not supposed to have AFib. Like it's very common with older folks. It immediately made me a little concerned. Like it made me overthink it. I didn't like try to make a big deal out of it because I wanted to try to keep it upbeat for the most part, but obviously I was concerned. I was then transferred from the emergency room to a hospital closer to the city, and I was treated there, and I ended up being stuck there for 2 nights, and hospital experience was fine. But while I was there, the doctor was kind of like trying to figure out what the cause could have been. And right now, as of right now, there's still like no clear answer as to what the cause was. For me, there's a direct correlation in my mind that it was directly related to the slushie that I had. Maybe I was drinking a lot of caffeine at the time, and I wasn't drinking enough water, and I have an active job, and so I'm on my feet a lot. So that makes sense, I guess. My brother described it as like a train track, and maybe my lifestyle, it was already a little rocky, and that brain freeze just shocked my nerves in my brain, and I don't know, maybe that just brought it off the track. Long story short, they ended up deciding the medicine they were giving me wasn't working, and so they ended up having to perform a procedure on me where they put you under, and they do a cardioversion, which essentially it's very similar to how they do it in the movies, where they shock your heart. In this case, they would just shock it back to a normal sinus rhythm, as they called it. And luckily for me, that worked. It was like a 15-minute procedure. They put me under. I woke up. I was in an extreme amount of pain in my back. The shock had to have messed with my nerves, and everything was tensed up. Like I was all seized up, and it was very painful. Actually, as I'm making this video, I'm in a good amount of pain, but it's manageable. I'm getting through it, and I have a follow-up appointment with the cardiologist in 2 weeks, so I'll be fine. I'll be fine, I think. While I was in there and they were trying to figure out what the cause was, a doctor asked, does this certain heart disease, I don't need to name the specific disease, but does this disease run in your family by chance? And my brother had remembered this email that our grandpa had sent him, letting him know that there was this heart disease that runs in the family. And my great grandfather passed away from a heart attack in his early 60s. My grandfather had to have heart surgery, like a triple bypass heart surgery, and my great uncle passed away from a heart attack. It turns out that blood disease runs in my family, and so for like 24 hours before I was actually able to be seen by a real cardiologist, because I was just waiting the whole time, there was a legitimate fear that I was in the hospital and I may actually have this really serious heart disease. And so it brought a lot of things to light for me, in the sense that like I know people have had way closer brushes with death or existential experiences and whatnot, but this was one of those for me where it really made me sit back and realize how fragile life is. While I was in the hospital, the only thing I was worried about was getting out of there so I can obviously be with my loved ones and live life. But it's so interesting, like as soon as you get out of the hospital, it almost like life goes on and you just end up getting in the same swing of things over and over and over and over again. It becomes very difficult to really appreciate life. I don't really know why I said that. For me personally, I'm gonna appreciate life a lot more, or I'm going to try to appreciate life more. Appreciate the little things and not get so worked up about just shit that doesn't matter. We're all just trying to figure it out, and shit most of the time is just not that important in the grand scheme of things. What's important is the people around you. I felt extremely loved by my circle, and I don't know, I feel appreciated, and it was a nice little wake-up call for me to not only like maybe drink less caffeine and drink more water and be generally healthier. It made me like want to do life differently, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Tonight is February 1st. If you weren't paying attention on the internet, this is a weird transition. A comet is supposed to fly past Earth, and I believe it already did. As of recording this video, it's 9:22 p.m. and I fucking missed it. It passes by the Earth like every 50,000 years, and it's one of the closest that it's ever been, that a comet's ever been to Earth with a viewable eye, and I missed it because I was doing just stupid human shit. Like it's those things. Like I say that I care about astronomy and I love space and it's so important to me, but I also I missed the comet. I could have just went outside and looked at it, but I was busy and I got caught up in my own life and I missed the comet. So that's another thing. I'm going to be better about living in the moment. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else is going to relate to this video or care, but if you saw the comment, I'm jealous, and I hope that it was beautiful for you. On a final note, I will be back next week with a real video. Thank you for watching. If you did, I don't think you did. I think this one's just for me, but it is what it is. That's what it's all about. Catch you in the next video. Thanks.